Okay, hi guys, and welcome to the show. Today, a quick recap of the first Urban Gentry official event we had here in New York. Also, I will be unboxing the latest addition to my watch collection. Yes, I've bought yet another watch. It's so funny because I started the year off by saying, "Oh, I'm gonna, try and scale back and not buy anything new and save for my grail." Well, it's completely failed. But if I didn't buy watches and I didn't collect, I mean, what would the channel be about? I just enjoy sharing the journey with you guys. So I'm just gonna. I'm just gonna collect and collect. Who cares anymore, right? I better do a wristwatch check. I am, in fact, wearing my Audemars Piguet, the little Mooney, it's not a good name. Guys, please do suggest a better name for my dress watch. It doesn't actually have a name. Even Audemars Piguet didn't come up with a name for this exquisite little enamel-dialed moon-phase day-date dress watch. It spends most of the time in the bank, and I only bring it out on special occasions, and I kind of like that because it prolongs the honeymoon experience, and also it makes you appreciate it that much more. So I will be popping this back in the bank safe, until the next time I decide to wear it. Yeah, save it for very special occasions. It's the complete opposite to how I am with most of my watches. I'm over the moon. Not a terrible. That was not intended. Anyway, so the first official Urban Gentry event, well, it was absolutely fantastic. Massive shout out to Bremont, all the wonderful people, Anthony, Carol, and I'm very pleased it was a roaring success. We're gonna do it again. In fact, Bremont weren't really prepared for the Gentry. We completely RSVP'd out in a matter of hours of the video going live, to such an extent that Bremont had to send emails out saying, "Oh, you're on the waiting list," and blah blah blah. So unfortunately, not everyone got to make it to the event because it's a very small boutique. I think the capacity was 70, even though we were quite easily double that. So it got very hot and very crowded in there. However, in an effort to make up for that, Bremont have very graciously offered to do it again, I think in the fall. So guys, if you missed out on this time, do not worry. This was just basically a kind of precursor of what is to come. So hopefully in the next one, I'll get to meet you. It was amazing. It was so much fun, and everybody was so friendly, and I was fascinated to see everything from Seiko 5s to Langes. There was even female Gentry members out there. There was one lady wearing, I'm not going to mention names just in case you want to be private or whatever. There was one lady wearing a beautiful Gerard Perregaux world timer, which I just found it deeply inspiring to see also ladies getting into watches as well. There's not enough of that. A lot of people came up to me and said, "Oh, I got into watches because of you, because of the channel," and that makes my day. You have no idea because that's what it should be about, and I feel that's personally I guess you could say my own crusade is to get as many people to enjoy this passion, this mutual hobby. There was a very open atmosphere that just made me immensely proud. I was rather timorous at the beginning, but then everybody was just having a good time, and that's what it's about. It doesn't matter where you're from, what watch you have. It's just about sharing this hobby. Also, I have to say, I am considering adding a Bremont to my own collection. I would love to add something British made that isn't my Charles Frodsham, my grandfather's pocket watch. I can wear it, but I'd have to get a three-piece suit and a chain and fob and all the rest of it. No, I want something a little bit more practical. I'm contemplating either the Supermarine I reviewed, or there is a beautiful 40mm, I think it's the Airco, which is this, it reminds me actually of the Omega Pilot watch I have from the 1940s. So I might get that into review, but I will add a Bremont definitely to the collection at some point. So Yeah, I've been converted. I'm a big fan. I am a big fan. And guys, stay tuned. We're going to have a lot more events. I think this is a great way of getting all together and just having fun, you know. If we can get other watch stores and other brands to be involved and to host events. Actually, I got to mention, a couple of weeks ago, I went to a Breguet event here in New York City. Shout out to my good friend Tom who invited me. Seeing that and then comparing it to our event was really interesting because, well, first of all, Breguet is a very high-end brand. If you're not familiar with Breguet, Abraham Louis Breguet is a massively important figure in horology. I mean, his innovations you'll find in most modern watches to this day. I mean, yeah. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole of because we'll be here all day. But it felt like a fashion show, not a watch event. And Breguet have a history with the Carnegie Hall. It was at the Carnegie Hall, if I didn't mention it. It was on the rooftop. If you ever pass by the Carnegie Hall, go into their lobby. There's an actual clock with a fully working tourbillon in the lobby. It's quite incredible. I couldn't film at the event because it was a very kind of upscale private event. I spent most of my time talking to their watchmaker who was in the corner, kind of forgotten about, a guy who'd worked with Breguet for 16 years, and it was fascinating hearing his insight. He's the man that makes Breguet what it is, right? The real talent behind the brand. But the emphasis was on launching their advertising campaign, and they had some actor that I'm not familiar with at all. They had a projector and this advert of this actor walking in Savile Row and walking down Burlington Arcade in London and then flying here, and it was all about the ultimate accessory for the gentleman, the Breguet, right? This kind of interesting bourgeois ideal of what a gentleman should be like, right? This kind of aspirational thing. And that's fine and everything, but the real magic of Breguet, I felt, was in the watches. And it's just a shame there wasn't the same emphasis like with Bremont, where, you know, the Bremont staff at our event, they were there presenting the watches. You could talk and it was a conversation. I felt the Breguet thing was more about kind of celebrities and the brand patting themselves on the back, and it was, which is so ironic because it's such a historic brand. But I mean, obviously I had fun, and it was amazing to have the honor and the privilege of being there. It wasn't the same, and I like the fact that with our event it was about the gentry. It was about you guys. It wasn't about the celebrities and this kind of aspirational, you know, gentlemanly thing. The irony is, I think there was far more gentlemanly behavior at our event, you know, so it was nice. It was casual. It was fantastic. So I'm really excited. We're definitely going to do this again. Thank you for everyone who attended. I'm sorry to those who couldn't make it or didn't. You know, Bremont could only allow a certain amount of people in there, obviously because of the space. But stay tuned. We're going to do it bigger and better for next time. So yeah, fantastic. So let's move on to the unboxing. So let's change perspectives. Then we'll come back and I'll discuss why I think this is the greatest, one of the greatest Hamilton watches ever made. Yeah, and I'm back in the Hamilton Club. I haven't owned a Hamilton watch for donkeys, I think, since the very early days of the channel. So long overdue. Anyway, enough rabbiting on. Let's change perspectives. Okay, so another unboxing, and Seiji is back. It's been a while, and it is my trusty unboxing knife check, and you can tell because it's got that horrid glue from the sellotape. But anyway, yeah, this is I should have unboxed this about a week ago, but I just haven't had time. I was more concerned with snagging this bargain and making sure I didn't lose out. So yeah, let's make the first incision and get into this unboxing. The moment of truth. Let's drum roll, please.
Ah, look at that. Ah, yes, the logo's inside. So this is a vintage Hamilton. Horrible strap, I can already tell. Aftermarket strap. But this is a solid 10 karat yellow gold. And as you can see there, Thin-O-Matic. Oh, wow, that winding's already going from... is it going? Let's wind it up. I bought a micro rotor, the Universal Genève, which I then sent back. And I really wanted the micro rotor because, you know, obviously they're so thin. But look, it's got the original Hamilton H logo, very 60s, 50s-esque. Should have it on the crown. Let's check the crown. Come on, focus. There we go. Look at that dial, gorgeous. Applied 12936. Beautiful. Let's just look at the quality. I don't think it's unpolished. Really nice condition. Yeah, it's got its little scrapes, but I love it. I had to get a Hamilton, and I wanted a Hamilton that was either made in America or from when the company was still based here. Pull out the crown. Move this forward. Set the time. What is the time? 1:30 precisely. So let's put it to 1:30. There we go. Wow, chuffed with that. Let's pop it on a wrist, see how it wears. God, this strap is awful, and of course it hasn't got the matching gold buckle, but I'll change this out. Very slender, perfect dress watch, that domed acrylic. Love how the applied numerals play with the light. No date, very simple, with that retro italic font. Thin-O-Matic. Got this for an absolute steal. Love it. Oh, look at that. That is pure class. That is pure class. Well, let's give it 48 hours and see. Yeah, let's take it back to the studio.
There it is. It wears fantastically well. Perfect for a dress watch, because obviously that micro rotor, if you missed my video on the micro rotor, I bought a Universal Genève, if you recall, just a little recap. I then sent it back because I spotted a pole router which didn't have the micro rotor, so I kind of exchanged them. I don't want to end up owning 3 Universal Genèves. So I was very sad I didn't get to have an actual micro rotor in my collection. And then I spotted this. It is the pinnacle of watchmaking for Hamilton, and there's some very specific reasons. First of all, as the date implies on the back, 1967, it was 2 years before Seiko released their first quartz watch, and thus changing the game forever, you know, the beginning of the quartz crisis. Hamilton in this period were reaching the zenith of their, again, pun not intended, oh god, full of horological puns today, the zenith of their watchmaking. And I'll explain a little bit why. If we look at the history of Hamilton in particular, in 1966, Hamilton acquired the Buren Watch Company, and they actually moved a lot of their manufacturing to Switzerland. What is interesting about the Thin-O-Matic here, a lot of the components were still being manufactured here in the USA, so it's still got that USA heritage in it, and the movement and other components were made in Switzerland, so it's a hybrid of sorts. At the time, Hamilton was still very much an American brand. From 1966 to 1969, Hamilton, Lancaster and Buren, Switzerland operated as a joint venture. And it was at this time that Hamilton started selectively incorporating the highly innovative Buren micro rotor into a small amount of their higher end pieces, like, as the name suggests, the masterpiece here, the Thin-O-Matic. Now, there is a big argument amongst watch fans, enthusiasts, horologists of who exactly invented the micro rotor first. Some people believe it was Universal Genève, other people think it was Buren, which were then part of Hamilton. Officially, Buren patented it, I think a year before in 1954, and Universal Genève in 1955. Now, Universal Genève are more of a luxury, higher end brand, so I'm a little bit sorry it doesn't have the decoration and everything. Now, if you're not familiar with the micro rotor, the basic concept was, in order to make it thinner, they took away the rotor that was mounted typically on the top of the movement and embedded it inside, or incorporated a miniaturized rotor into the actual movement. So it's 9 millimeters tall, including the domed glass there. I mean, quite extraordinary. Micro rotor movements take a lot longer to manufacture, it's a lot more expensive, and thus the thinness comes at a bit of a cost. I love the fact that it has no dates, it has a beautiful simplicity to it, it's got a charm to it. I love the indices, the way the faceted angles play with the light. There is a little bit of tarnishing on the back of the solid yellow gold, but the fact that it has an inscription also adds to the magic, and it came in its original box. It's all original parts. The dial is also original. It has not been refurbished. You could tell by the natural patina of it, the crispness of the printing, the slightly faded Thin-O-Matic italicized font. It's just magical. I mean, it's very indicative of that age. It has a style and class to it that American Swiss DNA is just, you know, it doesn't get better than this. Another telltale sign is that loom still applied to the 12, just beyond at the edge of the dial, next to the applied markers, the 12, 3, 6, and 9. Those very elegant, stylish Dauphine hands. The only slight negative about the micro rotor movements is that these early ones operated at 21,600, so that the sweep isn't as smooth. But what it lacks in its performance, operating at slow speeds, less friction on the moving parts, so it's still going so well. I'm gonna have tremendous fun looking up the story on the back. This was in an age where you worked at a company and they would give you a watch and you see a lot of this with Hamiltons. Part of that American tradition with corporations giving away watches for those, like you see here, 15 years of faithful service. So very cool indeed. To me, this is a perfect dress watch. It's got historicity to it, it's a precious metal, it's yellow gold without being overly ostentatious or loud or brash. I've actually put it on this strap that I got with my pole router. I think it offsets the tone of the yellow gold perfectly, and it's slender enough to slide under the cuff. I could not be happier. So yeah, and the edges, it hasn't been over polished. You've got the original crown, there's still a sharpness to it. So my little Audemars Piguet is gonna go back in the bank. This is the special occasions, and this is more, you know, Friday night, Sunday brunch kind of thing. So I think, yeah, perfect. I probably won't review this. I'll do a follow-up in a couple of months. You know, with vintage watches, it's especially something as special and majestic as this. I can't criticize it, but it's great to own a little bit of the Hamilton story. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you very, very much for watching. Please stay tuned for more events, thoughts, comments, opinions, all the rest of it. Oh, and by the way, guys, do nominate your favorite Hamilton watches. What is your favorite era of Hamilton in the comments below? Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it and found it useful. And as always, guys, I will catch you in the next one. Okay, guys, ciao.